Hello, church. This is Pastor Charlie, and today we're going to be in Psalm 119, and we're going to be looking at the ABCs of godly living. Now, as we've been working through this psalm, you know that every 8 verses is a different letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and we've attached a meaning to our ABCs. And so what we've seen so far is that the psalmist is aspiring to please the Lord. He is looking to behave purely to the Lord. And then he's counseling from the testimonies of the Lord. So he's aspiring to please the Lord, and he's doing that by determining to behave purely toward the Lord. And then he's getting that from counsel from the Lord. So you would think he's on a good path. This is great. This is the right way to be. And it is. Except for today, we're seeing that the psalmist needs to be delivered from despair by the Lord. Delivered from despair by the Lord. And your immediate question would be, well, why? Well, he's aspiring, he's behaving, and he's counseling from the Lord toward the Lord with all these things. You would think that joy would be rising from his heart. And there is. But there's also an identification of other things. So let's look at this passage and try to lay out what it's saying today. It says, my soul clings to the dust. Give me life according to your word. When I told of my ways, you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts, and I will meditate on your wondrous works. My soul melts away for sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. Put false ways far from me, and graciously teach me your law. I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I set your rules before me. I cling to your testimonies, O Lord. Let me not be put to shame. I will run in the way of your commandments when you enlarge my heart. Now, you probably heard that as I was working through it, but there are ways that are identified in here, and there are two. There are my ways that are clinging to the dust, and then there are your ways that are according to your word and your testimonies. And so what's going on here is the psalmist is identifying with those who want to aspire, those who want to behave purely, those who are taking their counsel from the Lord, and they see in themselves the inability and actually desire to go the other way. So there's a twofold desire. I desire to please the Lord. I desire to behave purely towards the Lord. I desire to take counsel, but I have ways that are at odds with that decision, and it's causing despair. So how does the Lord deliver from this despair? Listen to the psalmist. My soul clings to the dust. Give me life according to your word. So the first thing the psalmist is identifying is my soul, the spiritual part of me, is clinging to the material part of the world. That I have this spirit in me that wants to behave towards the Lord, yet it's clinging to the dirt of the earth. But give me life according to your word. Let your word bring life to me so that my soul is released from the dust of the earth. And what is that dust of the earth? When I told of my ways, you answered me. Teach me your statutes. When I told you this is the way that I am, you actually answered and give life. You give life according to your ways. Now teach me your statutes. So now that you've given me life, now teach me your ways. Make me understand the way of your precepts. I will meditate on your wondrous works. Make me understand, make me know your precepts, the way in which your precepts work and operate in this world. And I will meditate on that working, on that way that you do those things. I will meditate that way. And in this way, I'm going to be delivered from the despair of my soul clinging to the dust. But he's not finished. My soul melts away for sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. And he is sorry because He's not strengthened to do the things of the word. He doesn't have the innate ability to do what his soul is craving to do, and it's causing him sorrow. So he calls out and he says, put false ways far from me. I have in my being a desire for false ways that aren't the Lord's ways. And any way that is not exactly the Lord's ways are false ways. They may look close, but if they're not, they're false. And when we look, we go, man, I'm far from his ways. And so his soul is sorry. And so he asked for those to be put away and graciously teach me your laws. Be gracious to me and teach me. And then here is the resolution that he makes. I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I've chosen to be in that way. Set your rules before me. I cling to your testimony. So I've chosen the way of faithfulness. I set your rules before me. I cling to your testimonies, O Lord. Let me not be put to shame. So I've resolved, but it's the Lord who needs to empower me. I will run in your commandments, in the way of your commandments, when you enlarge my heart. And so the psalmist is identifying right here, right now, that he needs the help of the Lord. And his soul is clinging to the dust, and he's in despair because of it. And so what does he do? He does three things. He says, my ways demand assistance. I need assistance, or my ways will be my ways. I need assistance to have your ways. So my ways demands assistance from the Lord so that I can choose and do his ways. And then my ways demand grace. I need the grace of God to come in so that he gives me life. And that assisting grace resolves to do these things dependent on the heart that the Lord will enlarge so that I can do what I've resolved to do. So the despair that comes is the knowledge I don't do it right. And so I'm still resolved and I'm still clinging. Lord, enlarge my heart. And then I'll be able to do these things. And so, church, call out to the Lord in the midst of the despair of the inability that you have, and trust that he will help you in this way. We'll talk to you tomorrow. I've got a little in between of Tuesday and Thursday. Have a good day. Bye-bye.